She don't remember.
But now that really, she said, well, you tell it.
We were sitting at Ruby's table.
Is my face gonna turn red?
No. We were sitting at Ruby's table one night, and the regular Gail stuck her hand out, and she said, like this, and she showed me her diamond ring. My mouth was open.
Oh, you better not take this, John. You better not take this.
I looked at her and I said, are you serious? Yes. She said, I'm serious. I just sat there with my mouth open. I just didn't know what else to say. I said, I can't believe you're going to get married no longer you've known him. She said, well, I am. Of course, I asked her later. I sure was talking about Christmas. I said, well, Gail, what did you give him for Christmas? And she told me. And I said, what did you give him? He said, anything he wants.
Millie, talk to us about J.W. You know what? There's not... did you know J.W. Rosen?
I did.
You did. So we all knew J.W. We all love J.W. We all miss him.
J.W. was my buddy.
Well, there was one thing for sure that was missing tonight. And I think I can honestly say within each and every one of us here felt that loss as well.
Absolutely.
He was the light of my life.
How long were you married?
56 years, and the Lord let me celebrate the 56th year and took him home the next day.
Wonderful.
We had many good times, and a lot of those were spent with good friends and people who are more like family than they are friends. And those people are here tonight, and I know that if he can see what's going on tonight, he's doing a little dance up there in heaven. And I know he thoroughly enjoyed your piano playing. Just too bad he couldn't be here for you to take him to the woodshed.
Yeah.
But we had a good long life together, and as much as I loved him and as much as I've missed him, in those last days that he and weeks that he spent, I knew that for him, he knew it was time to go home. And I just had to bring myself to the place to where I was willing to accept that when it was that time for God to take him home, that God would help me to be able to be strong
and give him up.
I come to that place because there was times, literally, and I know you've been there too. Probably the move coming back here was one of those times. But there are some days in the life of when you're trying to care for a loved one that can't do for themselves. It can get somewhat hard and difficult. But I would look at him and I could tell that this was not just being a work on me, but it was, you could see it in the expression on his face that it was time for him to go home. And so I literally started praying, God, you give me the strength to take care of him. I didn't want him to go to the nursing home. I says, you give me and the family strength to take care of him for as long as you want him to be here, and give me the strength to accept the time when you take him home. And the Lord has done just that. And I know that the rest of the family have missed him, and I I miss the times that we would get together and I had the opportunity to sit and listen to him sing with the Hill Girls. There's many times I could have been envious because he spent a lot of time with these ladies. And at some point he was spending time with Juanita, but those was times he really enjoyed living. He enjoyed that. And, just the friendships, those was some high points in mine and his life. And I know that we're all sitting here, reminiscing about, things, but I'm just grateful and thankful that I do have family. I've got friends, and I just have a difficulty sometimes just saying how much I appreciate that. And
When did he pass?
2 years ago,
November.
November the 15th.
I've always regretted that it wasn't where I could come to his service. And I may as well tell you this, Gail. I've hidden behind this guilt for 10 years? How many years since Ray passed? A lot of years.
No,
I've
98.
always regretted that I didn't go to the hospital in Atlanta. We make excuses, and I can give you a few. But I didn't go, and I'm sorry.
Well,
In your situation,
you
Sandra was
sent
beyond
word,
sick.
and certainly we thoroughly understood that and appreciated the kind words. And
Sunday school starts at 9:15.
mhm.
That
And
man could get on to me and make me so mad, then I'd have to repent. Because you can't direct the choir and be mad at the choir member.
Going through all of those pictures that I did was another thing that I thank God that, I never would have, 70 years ago, I never would have thought of myself picking up a camera and even attempting to take pictures, but I'm so thankful for those, and they've kind of helped me in times too. Just went through the stuff that, in going through those pictures, I ran across this little envelope, and in there's one little piece of paper, and in it, a small little plastic bag with the ear ring.
Back of it.
No.
Yeah. Apparently, one Sunday, Ruby must have been missing a back to her earring. And I literally took mine off and I gave it to her. Now,
Right.
at my house now, I have that same little note of appreciation and thanks that you sent me, along with the little...
Well, aren't you sweet? Thank you.
But it's just small things that people do in life. It doesn't have to cost a whole lot.
Like meeting you out in the parking lot after a church service and giving some of these kids Christmas.
Oh.
It's the small things.
It's the
Billy,
small
I'll never
things
forget
in
that.
life.
Never. I know where we were parked. I know what car we were driving. And I don't know what you gave us. I couldn't tell you if my life depended on it, but you cared enough about us. That will live with me forever.
That's like with her. Her and her group from Carpet Mills. They didn't, she did, but the rest of the ladies didn't know me from Adam's house cat, hardly. And she asked if I want to go with them down to Jacksonville,
Florida.
Of course, Pawpaw was not accustomed to being very free-hearted and letting me out of his sight. I don't know why, because he had me over 40 years and he couldn't get rid of me. So
You had you on the short leash, huh?
anyhow, it at first didn't go over, and I said, look, this is a blessing from God, and if God's going to give you something, you take it and run. And that's exactly what I did, and I enjoyed it, and he lived through it.
What were you going to say again?
I wanted Ruby or Nell one very briefly, if they can, to tell about the woodshed.
We don't have to get into that now.
Ruby used to play the piano for the group. Nell and J.W. and Carol, and when
Sometimes Al Jenkins.
and when they messed up, she'd take them to the woodshed.
Go ahead, Ruby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
If they
I
needed it.
hardly know where the name came from, but it was so much fun to me.
It was fun to you and not to everybody else.
No, it was fun to them, I think.
She straightened them out anyway.
I got a kick out of it because Papa come home talking about it.
Yeah. They would talk between themselves and say, Joe,
If you
we
don't hit
got
the
to
right
go to the
note,
woodshed.
you didn't hit the right note if you were flat on that note or it was not right. She
But
called
he
your hand out.
remind them the name of the place that he was trying to get to, the woodshed. But everyone, and I've heard that, different ones talking about that quite a bit, quite a while lately. Talking about the woodshed. To start with, I didn't know who it was or what it meant, but
It was you, girl. It was you.
Yeah, if Papa would come home and say, well, we had to take some extra time today, I said, why? Well, so-and-so didn't get it right, and so Ruby just said, well, bet he would know how to go to the woodshed.
She was a perfectionist, and she
Yeah.
and she very lovingly taught them the right way to do it.
Lovingly?
Across another picture.
Lovingly.
I think it's some essence.
It was got caught up in Jermaine's pictures, and it's a picture. I don't know how in the name of tar I got your daughter's picture mixed up with Jermaine's pictures, but not across another one.
Remember when she had her hair dyed? Do you remember that? I think she was at Super Set.
She might have come
Because
out
we have a picture of her having her hair dyed standing by your Lincoln. Did you have a blue Lincoln?
I did. That's probably why I probably mistook her for being Sherry.
Probably.
We need to go anywhere sound.
I think that one more song is in order. Happy birthday
To you.
Aww.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ruby. Happy birthday to you.
We're going to sing it one more time, and this time we're going to say Sandra. Tomorrow is Sandra's birthday, and she made me promise that no cameras would go in that room.
Oh, really?
So we're just going to sing really loud. Sandra, can you hear us? She said yes for the camera's sake.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sandra. Happy birthday to you. Y'all know,
Sandra and I have been
Mama.
married so long, we've given up on
Thank you.
fancy
My
presents.
goodness, that was sweet.
She asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said, I want a trash can. The kind you put your foot on, the lid comes up, so the dog can't get in.
Oh.
I asked her what she wanted. She said a vacuum cleaner. Sandra's not using a vacuum cleaner in 10 years. But she gets tired of watching Michelle fight with ours.
Yeah.
Hey, they got the electric ones now. You don't have to steer them.
Oh, man, you get on the floor and
Remote control.
Yeah, well, she's probably not going to get that lucky. Michelle can still push.
Well, I got a new one vacuum for Christmas.
You need to go, baby.
Well, just whenever you get ready.
Yeah.
Russell, thank you for reading the story.
Just thank you for asking me.
Reverend
Y'all
Hayes
ain't
came up with that
fine as
idea,
fucking
and I
down
think
the
he
street.
did good.
He did it one year at the church.
Oh, well, that's probably where he came up with that idea then.
Well,
It
yeah,
wasn't
he asked
original.
him to do it.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you did.
Well, let me say,
Let's hope this video works.
Okay, well, I'm gonna divvy up the rest of this cake that
I'm glad you
That
did.
was
and I
left.
enjoyed the spirit.
I'm gonna get me a piece of it.
I'm
I'm
gonna
glad you
see
did.
that you
Well, she
Man.
seldom ever gets to get out.
Y'all are welcome to stay as long as you want, but you were probably right. If we're gonna